I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to ask the board to remain standing for a moment of silence to consider our purpose and to always endeavor to do what is in the best interest of the community, the students, and staff that we serve. Thank you. And now Julie will do a roll call. Bill, you okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Brian Garza, Jessica Decker, here. Seth Fisher,
Here.
Corey Homer,
Here.
Pam Lutfi,
Here.
Jeff O'Leary,
Here.
Chuck Pike,
Here.
and John Lewinsky.
Here.
Thank you. And may I have a volunteer to read the mission statement?
I'll do that.
Okay, John?
Delaware Valley School District, in partnership with our community, stands committed to maximizing student potential, fostering lifelong learning, responsible citizenship.
Thank you, John. And welcome, everybody. Just to let you know, the board met in executive session on Thursday, September 8th, 2016, and Thursday, September 15th this evening to discuss the superintendent's evaluation for the 2015-2016 school year, and also regarding a matter of potential litigation. So thank you for patience while waiting for us. And may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. John and Don. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. I would like to remind everyone present that your comments are welcome. Just put your hand up, identify yourself, and you will be recognized. Presentations tonight, so we will move on. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting, which was held on August 18th, 2016?
So moved.
Jessica and Jack. A second?
Second.
I'm sorry, we had a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. We have one student representative tonight, a new representative, Molly Scalo. Yes. Hello.
Hi.
So you have a little report for us this evening? Or an introduction?
Sure, I'll introduce
Okay.
myself. My name is Molly Scolo. I'm student council president. I'm also drama club president, and I'm in National Honor Society. I also work at Havahoot. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And she's an entertainer.
Yes, I do. I perform in drama club.
Well, welcome. And our other student representative, Matthew Caballero.
Yes,
I'm sure we'll be seeing him in the future.
sure.
Molly, you need to mention you have great parents.
I do.
Very
They are
supportive.
very, very great parents. Very talkative parents.
Now that we've totally embarrassed her. But that's a good thing. Are there any comments on our financial reports? If not, we'll move on to Dr. Bell's report.
Okay, thank you. First off, I just wanted to say that last night we finished off the last of the 7 open houses, and we had really, really good attendance at each one of the buildings. So that's always nice to see, and we appreciate the parents coming out to open house. Second thing is that we just continue to work on punch list items at both the elementary school and at the high school project, and as you'll see, the school is officially down. Last Friday, they took the last classroom down, so it took forever, it seems like, but it's finally down, and as you walk outside, you can see the gravel where there'll be another lane that will connect the district office parking lot to the high school parking lot with 76 more parking spaces. And then, once that blacktop is done next week, then they'll start working on the field. So we're getting there. Each week, we move forward a little more, so we're happy about that. There was also an article in the Dispatch about radio communication issues at the new elementary school, and we continue to work with everybody from the county, the borough, and the local just so that we can increase the frequency or improve the frequency reception at the elementary school. So we're working on that. We've got everybody involved from the county 911 center to the fire Matamoros Fire, Westfall Fire, Eastern Pike, and then our people that are, it's industrial, Chris, what is it, industrial communications, who's our representative, to try to come up with a plan to boost the signal. So we're working on that. And then the fourth thing I just wanted to mention is I took a look at our enrollment last year on this day compared to our enrollment today. And our kindergarten is 100 kids smaller than the class that graduated last year, but our enrollment is only down 52 kids. So that means at a net with all the withdrawals and all the additions over the summer, we had a net increase of, from kid to kid, from withdrawals and additions, a net increase of 48 to help close that gap of 100 between the class of 2016 and whatever this new class is. 2029? Wow, that's real wild. So that's good. That means people are moving into the area to start making up for the gap between the larger graduating classes. So we're down 52 overall, and that's not too bad considering. Now we'll see what happens as we move through the year, and I'll keep you posted with enrollment periodically. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pam, I did have a question related to the administrative reports. In the administrative reports, I noticed in Maria's report, the Education Department had 17 transfer students since the start of school, 8 elementary, 4 middle, and 5 high school. Is that stressing your budget, Maria?
It's not at all. In fact, that's quite a bit down from last year. Last year, we had a very unusual influx of out-of-state transfers. So we're at about half of what we were last year.
So you actually anticipated transfers in your budget?
We always do, and we always hold our breath a little bit around New York, New Jersey post Labor Day in anticipation of those late arrivals. So it was pretty slim this year.
Are there any students in this group that have exceptional needs?
1 or 2.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
I had a question for Maria also, Dr. Jones. The meeting with the Friendship House about the telepsychiatry, I know it needs to be approved, if it's approved, but how long is that process?
They told me an optimistic would be January, February. So it's going to be a little while just because it has to go through so many approvals for it to happen the first month. Our local MHDS has already approved for it to move forward. That's Mental Health Disability Services. The next step is CCDH, which is the insurance basically that would support it. A couple more hoops. So Dr. Bell will be getting a letter fairly shortly to say that yes, we are willing to go on board with this, and if that happens, hopefully this school year. My idea would be to have it before the end of the year, but we'll see. It's a great thing if it can happen.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding this article here, and I don't know if it's been addressed or if it's to be addressed, but in the article it says that the borough EMA declared several evacuations during the flood incidents in the past few decades. Well, 2006, 8, and 9, we had evacuations. I live within, you could throw a stone and hit the school from my house. And I was evacuated. And as I recall, even the community that was evacuated here to the high school temporarily had to be reshipped up to Shahola Elementary School.
Yeah.
So how could we ever consider DVSD, the new school in Delaware Valley? How could we ever consider that to be?
Right. Yeah, I definitely think while it's a new school, it's got all the features and it has a generator, it could be problematic getting to and from. You could get stuck there. In fact, that's happened. The issue we always used the high school in the old days, but it floods down by Lowe's at that low spot, and it floods right over here by the diner, by the nursing home, and this becomes trapped. So that's why everything was moved to Shahola. Quite a few years ago, Shahola became the point, because if the water gets to Shahola, you got bigger issues.
And over in Morris gets blocked off. The reason I was evacuated 3 times as a resident of Mount Morris is because the underpass in Port Jervis gets flooded, so there's no way out there.
Yeah.
And again, we have 10th Street by Turkey Hill, which gets flooded, and there's no way out there. So I don't see, if this comes up, I don't see how they do it.
Right. The safest bet still is to go to Shahola.
Shahola, yes, up and out.
One thing I did want to make a note is, I do want to thank the administration for all their work on grants specifically. I mean, just in this report alone, there's over $100,000 in grants savings back to the district. The most fun thing in the world to work on. So thank you. I just want to say thank you. Especially, I'm sure the whole board would like to say thanks for all that work. That's hard work. So
Thank you.
And before leaving after the last meeting, Brian Carso, who could not be here this evening, asked me to extend to the administration and staff a thank you for a wonderful school opening. So I told him I would do that. So thank you. Great job. Any other discussion? We're going to move on to the treasurer's report. May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Jack O'Leary and Jack Bishop. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. Bills for payment. May I have a motion to accept the bills for payment, which include the general fund, cafeteria fund, capital reserve fund, and the 2016 construction fund.
Motion.
John
second.
and Corey. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the personnel items, including resignations, appointments, child rearing leave, change of status, and change of salary? John and I'm sorry, Jack Fisher. Any discussion?
I had a question about the bus drivers and the special buses in general. Have we done any new monitors for this year yet? We haven't yet have any.
New managers, no.
No. And the part-time bus driver, or the bus drivers for the special education band, they all have CDLs?
CPI?
CDL,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, no. Sorry.
We have a position moving from part-time to full-time that we're approving this tonight for special ed driver. Does that person have their CDL?
That's the question.
We're approving the change of under a change of status, someone from part-time to full-time. And I know it was advertised, it said CDL preferred, which doesn't mean it's required. So does that person have?
Doesn't say required, it's preferred. If I could find a candidate with that, I would maybe get a little more consideration than other candidates.
So the person
I
does
didn't
not.
find one. So we'll have to train that person would be a CDL licensed driver.
Right, and that was just my question, since we're hiring drivers for us, for our special education vans, I just want to have the highest certification and the highest requirements that we can meet, so whatever it takes to achieve that.
We'd like the highest credentials available to us, so this time around, we didn't get any of those candidates to come forward.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw the posting, and when it
There's
said preferred, I was surprised that it didn't say
That's why I use
required.
that word, because if I said required, then I wouldn't be able to hire anybody.
Okay.
There is a shortage nationally of bus drivers, as you probably know. So, what we've had to do lately is to hire and train. And, it's early during negotiations with the contract, we talked about training the drivers. We've done all of that district-wide. All of our drivers have been through training with Maria and Mary Olson for handling special needs kids.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a request put out by the board, and thank you for following up with that. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Maria and Mary, for doing that.
Did we ask for that to carry? We had discussion. So hearing no objections, it carries, correct? May I have a motion to approve additional volunteers per the attachment? Second?
Second.
Jack and Corey, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the additional Delaware Valley Adult and Community Education Instructor for fall 2016? I believe instructors.
Motion.
John Rozeski. Second. Jessica. All those, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I now have a motion to approve the request for the waiver of rental fees for the following organization, subject to approved insurance. The Pike County Humane Society's use of the Delaware Valley High School 910 cafeteria and middle school gymnasium on September 3rd, 2016 for their tricky tray at a loss of rental fees of approximately $215. Don and Chuck and Don, any discussion?
Are we voting on something that's already occurred?
Appears that we are.
They had the function, they just haven't, you're voting now whether we're gonna charge them the fees.
No, I see.
Okay.
That would be a nasty surprise for them.
Right, and it does say waiver of rental fees, yes, that would be a surprise. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to accept change orders PC 48 to PC 50 and PC 52 for the Delaware Valley High School campus improvements and PC 048 for the Delaware Valley new elementary school? Chuck? And Jack? Fisher? Any discussion?
Marvin, can you explain this all? Okay, billing of existing payment, why? Why do we have to do that?
Well, starting about over 2 years ago, the spec was to overlay existing driveways and parking lots with a 1-inch layer of asphalt, which, as you know, doesn't give you much. 2 winters later, we have cracks, actually crumbling of pieces of asphalt along the edges. It looks like I'm spending your money, but I'm actually saving your money, because if you put a 1-inch layer of asphalt on a bad base, in about a year or two, you're gonna be doing it all over again. So we went back to the original plan, from the civil engineer and doing everything on time, to mill 3 inches off and put new asphalt down on all the driveways and parking lots. Now you got a surface that's gonna give you 15 years of good service.
So that's tying into the existing ones down in that block.
And that was here,
No, this is.
that was here in the high school parking
No,
lot.
that was in the high school parking lot.
Yeah, it got so beat up that I was like, don't put an inch over it. Because then in 2 years, I said, Jack O'Leary's gonna be chewing on me because it's all the brand new stuff is crumbling. So I said, let's do it right.
So are these all these change orders, or any of these regarding the Delaware Valley Elementary School?
$608. PC 048.
In all the high school.
Okay, because I just wanted to know what was going on with the access for the parking lot.
One of those was precipitated by the building inspector.
But that's existing here on this campus. Okay.
Right.
I just want to make sure we weren't doing things
Yeah.
that should have been included down there. That's-
We had normal change orders at the other location.
Forget that I even started.
Okay.
No objection whatsoever.
No, it's always good to explore what we're asking to approve. So we appreciate that. Just a good answer. Thank you, Marvin. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve Michael Casametto as the Delaware Valley District vote for the 2017 Pennsylvania School Boards Association President-elect?
Motion.
John and
Second.
Jack O'Leary. Any discussion? I just would like to mention that these people are unopposed. I don't know them all personally, and we have more coming up, but they are good people and they work very hard for us. And I wouldn't be able to answer any additional questions right now. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve David Hutchison as the Delaware Valley School District vote for the 2017 Pennsylvania School Boards Association Vice President?
Motion?
Second. John and Jessica, any discussion? Favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. I didn't hear objections, but I didn't hear a lot of ayes either. Kind of hard to vote on people you don't know. I understand that. May I have a motion to approve the Pennsylvania School Boards Association Insurance Trust trustees as listed?
Move.
Jeff Fisher,
Second.
Chuck? Any discussion?
Before you vote, I will tell you, I don't think I've ever brought this up, but Kathy Swope is currently the president of PSBA this year, and she's the former president of Lewisburg Area School District. But her daughter Diana is a teacher at Dingman Delaware Middle School. She teaches English and
Oh,
music,
nice.
and And her mom's a whirlwind, just like she is, so I just thought you'd like that context.
And the names that you see before you have been involved with PSBA for many years. Very, very dedicated crew. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to rescind the motion made at the April 21st, 2016 board meeting approving Berkovich Design Associates Architects LLC to develop and prepare construction documents for the CTE additions and renovations. Said motion also includes BDA and their associates proceeding with testing and site development not to exceed $100,000 without further approval.
So moved.
Jack Fisher,
Second.
Jessica Decker, any discussion?
So this is just rescinding
Correct,
everything.
yes.
Start
Clean slate,
Start over,
starting
yes.
over. Favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. Moving on, may I have a motion to approve BDA Architects LLC to begin preparation of construction documents for the CTE additions and renovations at a cost not to exceed $100,000. Allow BDA to begin site testing, survey, and schematic design as per the attached projections and schedule of wage rates from BDA. The fees billed exclusive of testing agencies will be credited toward the percentage fee at a time when the board authorizes the project to move. Did everybody get that? Okay, moved by Jack, second by Chuck. Any discussion?
There's an attachment on this, and what the attachment is, just for disclosure, I was talking to our solicitor today about a separate matter, how I was approached as an individual board member here. And the conversation led to this. There's a wage schedule, and I would like further clarification on it. The wage schedule says that the principal of BDA Architects gets between $175 to $190 an hour. The senior project manager gets between $135 to $165 an hour. The project manager gets between $115 to $130 an hour. The designer gets $108 an hour. Interior designer is another $108 an hour. The CAD drafts person is $92 an hour. The administration services word processing is $80 an hour. You add all of that up and it comes out to $900 thereabouts an hour. I would like to know what is the billable hourly rate, because as this is written, the hourly billable rate is nearly $900 an hour, and I can't see all of these persons working on each hour's the thing. I'd like a breakdown of that.
You had the conversation, you guys wanted to know how to break down what's the 100,000, where's the 100,000, what might be included in that, besides all the fees that might have to be DEP fees, testing, all that stuff, like what would be BDA's share of it? So they gave us a list of all the people that might possibly work on this project and what their hourly rate is. So say they spend, this is an example, say they spend, in this whole, out of the 100,000, 20,000 of it is BDA. Spend 100, but that's the cap they're allowed to spend. If 20,000 of it is all those different people doing different amounts of hours, depending on what the work is, then that 20,000, if you guys vote to do the project, that 20,000 is part of the 6.5% fee. So it's not like it's on top of the 6.5% fee. That gets rolled into the fee. It's not extra.
In their letter here, they state that, it's the $100,000 and that they're setting aside $35,000 to cover outside costs paid to consultants for testing such as soil, geotech, asbestos, and survey. I understand. So $35,000 of that dollars, they are subbing out to their subcontractors, which is fine and reasonable. We're to pay BDA $65,000. I'd just like a breakdown of that $65,000. Either it comes now, or I'd like to tell them now before I vote on this. I will expect that at the end. I fully expect it to be, because I'm a contractor, I expect the price to be $65,000 at the end, one way or the other. That's just how business goes. But I'd like a bill of sale on this.
Done, we can certainly get it. And they can say, this is how we did it. Here's where it came out. Here's how we got it. And by the way, don't forget, this is all part of your 6.5%. It's not on top of your 6.5%.
I'm fully expect.
Yeah, because that's how we're gonna have to pay them.
They're gonna bill us time and material.
Yeah, they're gonna bill us.
Because of the limitations they have on it.
Right.
Excuse my voice, won't they do progress billings? Or are they just gonna give us a lump sum, this is
It's
60?
time and material, because of the $100,000 restriction, they're gonna bill us time and material. If the projects go forward, like John said, that whole amount will go towards the fee, which is established by a percentage of the bids whenever they're awarded at a later date.
0.5% of the total construction cost, but we do not know what the total construction cost is. That's why
Right, we won't know
this
until the
agenda was changed.
we won't know that number until the bids are accepted. We'll ballpark it based on estimates, right? But you never know until you open the bids, what the actual bids are.
In a typical project, whatever the estimate was that kind of everyone thinks it is, they would be paid upon that until whatever it's gonna be, year and a half, 2 years when we go to bid it. Then that all gets readjusted.
Right, but if the,
They're not at 100% then anyway, because they build so much on design development, and then it goes into schematic design for another percentage, then it goes to bidding phase, which is another percentage within the 6.5. In other words,
right, that part of the 65,000 that is of the 100,000 that we're looking to approve, they're going to bill that as they're progressing in the work, correctly? So they're correct, so they're not going to wait and bill 65,000 in a lump sum, they're going to bill monthly or however they're, as to their progress, so we,
Monthly. They said it, and that's what they do now.
so that should then have the principal at so many hours for that month and the CAD guy and.
it will.
Right, so each month you'll get a feel for what's going on and who's doing what, and how many hours, right?
But you want an estimated breakdown of
No,
what they.
I'm not gonna ask for it ahead of time. I'm just putting them on notice that I will be asking for it. And I think we as elected officials, because people will ask us, I know Dave Holtz will ask me.
It seems like a whole lot of money. When you say
It is
it
a
the
lot
way
of
you
money.
just said
It
it.
is a lot of money. It is an awful lot of money, and when the common person in Pike County, in our school district, sees that, they want to know what they're getting, just like when you go to the doctor and he charges you, you want to know what you're getting for that money.
Dave has a question.
Yeah, essentially then the last line in the new resolution is the reason for the resolution. I don't see any reference to the permits and billing in the earlier one that you were seeing.
No, the reason for the separation was in the original motion, we included the permitting for the maintenance building, which at the time we called it a pole barn. It no longer is in the plans as a pole barn, it was a maintenance building. We separated that out tonight, that would be a separate motion. So the original motion, we approved the paper, we approved the money going forward to do the preliminary permits for both the CTE building and the maintenance building. This is just, this motion right here is completely separate, it keeps the
Yeah, I
CTE
can see
building.
that, I just don't see it in
But you're right.
number
Yeah,
H, it's not.
In H,
Right.
right, H doesn't refer to the fees billed,
Or-
exclusive testing
or the
agency,
maintenance
credit,
area.
right?
You're being more specific now.
No, is then H an accurate version of what that,
Yeah, because there were, at that April meeting, there was another motion for the maintenance building that was defeated. This one was passed, that one was defeated, so now they're back in two new versions.
And this is with the understanding that there's going to be further discussion regarding the programs that we're offering.
Right.
This is just,
Yep, just to get the ball rolling and get holes in the ground before things freeze over.
I would just like to add to this last thing here that I supported CTE all the way forward. I don't know what we can say here and what we can't say here, but I am a construction guy. I like to finish one thing before I start the other. I don't like to go into a new construction project with things like from old construction projects. And anything can be, my solicitors told me, anyone can sue anybody at any time for anything. So we had an executive session regarding potential litigation, and every time we do anything, there's always potential litigation. I would love, I've been waiting to vote for this since April or May or whatever thing, right? And,
You haven't been waiting as long as I have.
but,
It's about weeks.
but this is not, we need to finish what we're doing. with the other for me to go ahead with this. So, as much as it's gonna pay me, I'm gonna say, see me in October, and you'll get a yes. When we sorted out the little details that have to be done with the others, that I can't tell you because it's potential litigation. So, what I'm basically saying is, I'm gonna say no to something tonight that I wanna say yes to. And it's because it's a point of order. And that really doesn't, that doesn't sit right with me, and I can't tell you why. Which, we'll know next month. So, as much as I'd like to say yes to this, it's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to do the people's business, needed order.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on with a roll call vote. Julie?
John Bouquet,
Yes.
Brian Carso, Jessica Decker,
Yes.
Jack Fisher,
Yes.
Corey Homer,
Yes.
Pam Lutfi,
Yes.
Jack O'Leary,
No?
Chuck Pike,
Yes.
John Robleski.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no, 1 absent. Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone. We're gonna move on now. I need a motion to approve BDA Architects LLC and their associates to include for the purpose of permitting only the maintenance building of approximately 4,000 square feet by the board for approval and construction at a later date. The BDA will prepare the permitting drawings and assist the district in procurement of the building as part of the fee paid for the CTE project, as long as both projects are in the same DEP permit application.
So moved.
Jack, Jack and Chuck. Any discussion?
Well, the only thing that I would like to say is that I supported Marvin's reworked plan for the maintenance building, and I appreciate the work he did in that, and everything that I possibly could have asked for, Marvin provided for me. He went above and beyond. And Marvin, they're gonna ask me in 2 minutes to vote on this again, and in October, I would love to say yes. But for what I just said, I have to say no, and for that, I have to apologize to you, because I really want to give you your building, because you were more than fair with me. So,
It is.
And Marvin, I just would like to say I'm still waiting for the presentation. I do support this project now that we have separated it into 2 categories. One is independent of the other. They will be funded in different, in different manners. So I appreciate all the work that you put into
Just
this.
so I make it clear to myself, what you're saying is that both projects have to be on the same DEP permit. So as long as you wait to do CTE, I'm waiting for my maintenance. So
That's right.
that's not really what I want.
Well, you know what? I've been waiting 19 years. So hopefully this project will move along and we'll both get what we want. What is best for, but we still need a presentation because I know you brought that figure of $350,000 down to $175,000. And I know you were sick at the one meeting and then we had our budget and so forth. So we still are waiting for that
You
presentation.
can do that.
So we'll,
Whatever you
whatever is good for you. Okay, so that when the time comes to vote on it, we know what we're
And as we
voting on.
refine CTE, we can do that too, because we've got more information on
Right.
CTE certainly to bring to the table. as well.
Absolutely.
But
Yep,
my real
perfect.
worry is to say no to CTE for whatever reason. And then I'm gonna be
Don't
able to 10
jinx us.
minutes waiting for my maintenance.
Don't jinx us, we're moving on, okay? Okay, roll call vote.
I do have a question. What
Well,
Marvin
it's
is saying
Sorry, Jack.
is that if we get the permits in 2 months and we don't approve the project till next summer, he can't start his, because it's not part of the bond. This is money we have on hand.
Right.
So why would we not allow him to get started on that if we have the permits?
That's why I'm
in place?
bringing it up. I'd like to clarify it so that everybody's on the same page.
Well, we decided that it has to be on the DEP permit application.
Well, if we do 2 whole separate permits, it takes forever.
Yeah, we don't.
And Don Flynn's not
So it's
gonna,
a chance we take.
not gonna throw it in.
It's the least of the 2 evils.
But see, I had never had a conversation with anybody that we would physically wait to build the building.
Yeah,
That's not what this motion said.
No, it doesn't say that, just Marvin said that.
No, it doesn't say.
So we can get started on the construction.
Because we're gonna have things that we're gonna bring to you that are gonna be over, summer of 17, 18, 19, which is all gonna be run out of a separate fund, out of CapEx. It will be it'll be regardless of where we are in the DEP process.
I'm good. If we got other people that understand that, I'm good.
Okay.
Do you understand the permitting process, this permit application, is it all or none as far as approval of the permit? Or do they separate, structures, or is it's all one permit? Yeah.
Yeah, DEP and Pike County Conservation District will review what's your square footage of building space? Are you paving anything that's unpaved now? We'll go from, from pervious to impervious. So that's all. DEP will give a stamp of approval for overall size and scope of the project. And they don't really care anything about what's inside the buildings.
Either it'll be
It's
treated
just
as
about-
one approval.
It's all about rainwater runoff.
And there's nothing,
But if there's something that they don't approve for the CTE project, that the maintenance shed would not get approved either.
Right, it would have to remedy whatever it is for CTE.
but you don't anticipate anything like that.
We still have to vote on the maintenance, we haven't even voted that we're doing it yet.
Yeah, we're saying that the fee paid for the CTE project, as long as both projects are on the same DEP permit.
Because
Application.
BDA is waiving their fee as long as they're submitted.
The two are tied together.
But if they had
And
to
this
do,
motion doesn't separate.
all
Well,
this says is that,
it's capping $100,000 though.
Right.
That's why it
That's-
says
of course,
it's part
yes.
of the fee paid for the CTE
Right.
project.
and it wouldn't be for free if he had to do a whole nother DEP.
That's why they're together.
Right.
So these applications are married. And there's no way to separate that out.
At DEP,
DEP.
yeah, anytime you do, even when we did, in the fall of 12, we built the visitors bleachers. In 2013, we built the building on the visitor side of the stadium. And then not until 2016 did we start this project. But they were all on the same DEP and Pike County Conservation District approval, because everything that was gonna happen on this property was put in one application, and they understood that it was gonna be open for years because it was gonna be done in phases. So the same approach is being done here. These may not be built at the same time, and one might be big and one might be small, but it's on this campus, so it's one application.
Thank you.
That's all. It's just for simplicity's sake.
The reason why I keep not liking this is for the very one reason. Pike County, because it was a simple area where the life was simple. And when we start changing wordings about this, when we start doing things without finishing something else, we're acting as if the people of Pike County are simple-minded. You can read right through all of this stuff. Next month, I'm fine. I'm not fine this month. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I don't believe that there's anything we're trying to hide. It's been a very long process to get to this point. We always table this motion.
I think they're two very unrelated situations. They're, they're not related. The issue you're speaking of is not related to this issue. And, you like to finish one thing before start something else, but, in this case, you don't always have that luxury, and they're unrelated.
Well, we do have.
We're not trying to hide anything from the public.
We have the luxury. Ground isn't freezing next month. We do have the luxury. To say that you have to do this month instead of next, when other things can be sorted out by next month is ridiculous.
Why didn't you say that last week then?
Because I didn't know the things that would come up. What is going on with Delaware Valley Elementary School? Those things weren't available to us last week. These are things that have happened in the process. Last week, I would have voted for this, and I would have been comfortable.
Jack,
But I can't.
because I actually had the same concern you did, because that's why when we brought this forth in April, and I believe it was a unanimous vote back in April. The reason that I believe you and most of us voted for it in April was because we were capping at $100,000 and only voting to get the permitting process done so we could get the jump on that, still leaving a lot to be discussed and determined on CTE, and understanding that we had projects that weren't done yet. So that's why we were willing to do it then. Processing everything here, I do think that it's time to get this going. We were all ready to do it in April. Things came up. The pole barn was a surprise, and we put it aside. And I think that was the right thing to do. Right now, I'm not as concerned about what you're talking about, because I do believe that the school district is on the right side of that situation, so I'm prepared to move forward.
There's 8 members here that are voting on something that's gonna be very good for this district, CTE. It's something I wish I could join you on, but I can't change who I am, and I do things structurally. So I wanna vote with you, but I can't, so please respect that.
Okay, so.
Just as a point of
Jack?
clarification, back in April, I voted against it because we were going to be paying for 2 permitting.
I voted against it also.
Yes, so some of us realized back then that we were paying twice for something that now we're only paying once for.
I actually,
And just as a point of clarification, we received tonight our executive summaries. The DB elementary school is 99% done, and the high school is 96% done. So there's not a lot left to do. So I understand, Jack, you have a principle you're sticking to, but for all intents and purposes, the projects are virtually complete.
The project is over when this final certificate of occupancy is issued,
Very technical, I understand.
and that's a real big technical construction capital.
and Jeff, just for, if you go back, I believe at the last meeting when John read the minutes, because I brought up that I believe we did vote on it and approve it in April, there were 3 votes. But I believe in the final one, it was a unanimous. I believe that's what John read. I could be mistaken, but go back and read it.
I'd love for this vote, I'd love for this
Let's look at it
vote.
later. Let's call the question.
I'd love for this vote to be
And I
unanimous.
know,
I
it
know
wasn't
he's gonna wait a
unanimous,
month for
because
it.
I know I held out till now, and it's been well researched, so I'm prepared, I am, excuse me. I would like to have the privilege of asking you to call the question. I'll take a roll call vote, I'm sorry. Roll.
Okay?
You got me all discombobulated.
Brian Carson.
I like all these surprises.
Jessica Decker.
Yes.
Jack Fisher.
Yes.
Corey Homer.
Yes.
Pam Lutfi.
Yes.
Jack O'Leary.
No, with regret, if that can be recorded.
Oh my God.
Jeff Pipe.
Yes.
John McLusky.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no, 1 absent, motion carries.
And I had my Snickers bar.
That was funny.
Can I make one more comment against my superintendent's better wishes?
No.
You
We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay. All right, other business. Any other business from the board?
I'd like to hear what Marvin has to say.
Now the vote is sealed. Now you can say it.
That's fair.
Now you can say it. The vote's over. Go ahead.
If you're gonna get tie the CTE and the permit for the maintenance shed together, you won't get the permit until you make your final decision on what CTE is gonna be. Jack, last week you talked about outdoor space, those kinds of things, you're not gonna get a permit until those decisions are made.
Right, what I said a few minutes ago is that we still have stuff to iron out with CTE, so we have to come back to the board and do a presentation. We could also do the presentation for the maintenance building that same night.
I'm pushing that, I support that.
No, I don't think you heard me say it, that's all.
I heard you say it. But I want to
And
get you said something.
the other thing to keep in mind is you still need to get folks to support this project. We're not at that point yet. We're making sure that the property that it's going to go on is, you know, meeting the whatever DP, what was it? EPA, I don't know.
DEP.
DEP, you know, we're gonna make sure it's meeting their expectations, but we still do not have, consensus as to whether we're doing the project. So you need to keep us informed.
Thank you for listening.
Question.
Yes.
Jack's concerns seem to be based on possible litigation. Is there any concern arising that there might be litigation down the line? Or is this simply overextension of caution?
I can only say nobody has contacted us about litigation.
We're just concerned about some
We're just-
issues that obviously we're not gonna disclose in public. That's why it's in kind of an
Well,
executive
it's
session.
thinking ahead.
Everything can be considered a litigation, so you have to be very careful.
Any other board members? Anything from the public? I see some new faces. Welcome. All right, I'll make an
Ma'am,
announcement.
were we gonna go over this thing? So this is the CTE post funding? It's in our packet.
Do you want to review
It was
that?
asked to be put in the packets last night after the discussion.
What do you think, Jack? Is this-
Well, you had asked last week, and I was very much in favor, and I very much appreciate you asking, but that one is separated it out into a construction. And I would like to see that on there, but if I'm the only one, look, folks, it ain't easy being me sometimes, and I wind up being the only one, and I'm not saying it's
But
that.
is this
But I would
what
like
we
to
talked
see it.
about last week?
This is what we're talking about. I'd like to see that money that goes to build CTE, put in a separate construction fund for CTE.
Maybe, all right. 2017 construction fund.
And that's what you
The
would,
biggest chunk of it doesn't come until you get the bond issue fund.
Yeah, in January.
but keep all that money in the fund where you said, the 2017 construction fund. And then we'll decide if there's anything left over, what's to be done with it. I'm okay with that, because I certainly do trust every board member on this board.
But you see how we put aside the money, so you would ask for, and where it all came from, so.
But if a motion could be made that we do decide at the time when, like Pam just said, and my president just said, we haven't committed to this project. We've committed to the process of the project, to the paperwork that goes behind it and the testing. When we do, if we do, commit to the project, and I'm pretty sure we will, and it'll have my vote and support then, I would like to see another motion go on the board at that time. Creates a construction fund that you spoke of last week, so I'm not gonna ask for it tonight because it's putting the cart way in front of the horse. And I hope if anything came from tonight, people know that I'm very structured on how I do things.
One point of clarification, when we do a construction fund, because of IRS regulations, they have to track the arbitrage earnings on the money, so I may have to do two separate funds if there were 5 board members that wanted to do that. The bond issue proceeds into a specific fund, like the bond issue proceeds would have to be there. And then if 5 people wanted to, I could take a chunk of capital reserve fund, open up a new checking account, and then pay bills from 2 funds. Which, but I don't believe I can have the right, I can check with the bond council on that, but I don't think I can commingle those funds because it would affect the tracking on the arbitrage rebates or the arbitrage earnings, which affects your IRS forms that are part of the bond issue process.
Well, what we could do at that point is if you put the bond under a separate account, as Jack has stated, and you held a second account for the money you have already dedicated to that. So the second account for the money that you've already dedicated first, and get rid of that account.
I think when Jack's mentioning account, I think he's talking about a GL, not an actual account.
I account for everything.
I know, but I think we're missing something in
Separate
translation here.
accounting is
When he says
certainly-
account, I think you're talking about a GL, right, general
That's
ledger.
being done
I
as.
think Jack wants
that's being
separate
done.
checking account.
Right, and you
Oh,
specifically
that's
to create a separate construction fund for that bond. Whatever money we take out of the bond, that goes into the construction.
So if I do discrete above board accounting that says in this fund, this is for CTE, that's not satisfactory.
Because you don't want it commingled with other funds.
I don't want to go there.
So you're gonna have an extra checking account to balance it.
If 5 people agree.
If 5 people.
But if we
We
create.
want a unanimous consent. We don't want
We
that.
do, I don't want to be the dissent here, and I
What's a
understand.
separate GL account? Accommodate that?
That's how we've done it in the past, but I understand your concerns about how it was
It
done.
would, except that the bond will not say, I agree to the bond being open-ended, the language open-ended at the end. Whereas first I said that the bond would be for, and it's written on the bond that it would be for CTE only. And then if there's money left over, then we have to return that to the public. Well, I trust the board members on here to spend that money wisely. Marvin certainly has projects. He's certainly proven to this district the quality of his department. There's no question about that. He goes without question. I'll go with that. But if I'm gonna give up one, I have to ask for the other.
That's a good compromise.
You know?
I agree. That's why I'm saying, Bill, I think you're gonna have a separate bank account to reconcile.
When you vote for
When
the
the
full
5 people
project,
vote.
if and when you vote for the full-fledged project, then that.
And I feel personally that that's a fair trade-off.
So,
Thanks.
Just one more item for me, in clarification. The first motion, we mentioned site testing, but it's not mentioned in the second. But I'm under the assumption we do need to do site testing, correct? We also do site testing for the maintenance shed. So that is to be understood then, that site testing doesn't have to be in there, doesn't have to be stated.
Right, and it's all, these will all be up there too.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of said prepare for the permitting drawing.
Yes,
So
it
all
doesn't mention
would-
site testing as
Well, it
it's
just,
That's part of the permitting
so
process.
it is part of it,
yeah,
okay.
that's all.
Just we were so
included in it.
specific above, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't.
No, they'll
included in
do
that.
the same test pits for.
Okay, so there won't be an additional charge or additional motion needed for that, okay. All right. So if there's nothing additional from the public, we have a motion to adjourn. Oh, I guess I better, first of all, make some announcements here. October sixth, 2016, we have a work session at 7 o'clock here in this office. And October 20th, 2016, our regular meeting at 7 o'clock will be at the new Delaware Valley Elementary School.
And please note that's first and third weeks,
Yes.
not first and second, because the second week is the PSBA conference.
And now may I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jack? And Jeff?
I just want to invite everybody into the room. We have a cake to honor Dr. Brian Blom, who earned his PhD earlier this summer. So he has
Brian, I'll tell you. Hello, Rose. How are we doing? I know.